Supporters and activists supporting State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby came out proclaiming her innocence today, just days after the top prosecutor was indicted on federal charges.
WMAR 2 News' Kendall Green's on the story tonight. And Kendall, it didn't take long for folks to take an open vocal stance on this federal investigation going down.
Yeah, not long at all, and they did it quickly. And State's Attorney Mosby has gained a wave of support from folks throughout the community. Those who believe that this prosecution is fueled more by politics than policies than the actual charges themselves.
I stand with Marilyn Mosby.
A strong stance from supporters of the city of Baltimore's State's Attorney.
Marilyn Mosby is innocent as we stand here with these community leaders.
Despite the 4-charge federal indictment, not only do they presume her innocence, but call her prosecution a witch hunt.
They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars gratuitously investigating a sitting public servant who filed their taxes and went line by line regarding charitable contributions. Who does that?
Taking aim at Leo Wise, who heads the Fraud and Public Corruption Unit, who was leading the investigation into Baltimore City's top prosecutor. 2 counts of perjury, 2 counts of false statements on loan applications, charges Mosby attorney calls false, hinting at political and racial animus.
All 4 charges are false. I can tell you we have exculpatory evidence that we wanted to share with them, did share with them. We offered her up to the grand jury. We offered her up to be interviewed. But when you're not interested in justice and fairness and equity, you don't take those meetings. You ignore the numerous emails.
Also calling out President Biden's appointed U.S. Attorney, Eric Barron, who signed off on the charges.
We gave him everything and said, give us a meeting. Refused to meet with us. We offered her up for a grand jury, an interview, refused to even respond.
When asked about a legitimate defense of the charges for perjury and Mosby's claim of hardship listed on the indictment, this was Attorney Bolden's response.
It was her money, 1, and 2, she certainly got advice from professionals, right? And 3, if you weren't negatively affected financially, one way or the other, directly or indirectly by COVID, right? If you weren't affected, raise your hand.
In retrospect, he maintains his belief that State's Attorney Mosby was given legal, sound advice when applying for her hardship in an effort to attain $90,000 of her own retirement money. He says now his efforts are centered on not just fighting the prosecution, but doing it quickly in an attempt to minimize harm to a looming run for re-election. Claiming though she is listed as a defendant, it won't just be Mosby on trial.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for Maryland is going to be on trial. The criminal justice system and its attacks on black female progressive prosecutors is going to be on trial. The whole system in Baltimore and how you go after black elected officials, black female elected officials, black liberal prosecutors all around this country, it's going to be on trial.
Mosby attorney said he'd like a speedy trial, and he's hopeful to get one in a little more than 2 months from now at the earliest. If convicted on all 4 charges, Marilyn Mosby could face up to 70 years in prison. Jamie and Kelly.